Hey everybody, it's Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Today, we're going to poke around the fish room. I've been working on it pretty hard. Might not look that way. I'm going to talk about stuff. You guys seem to like it. And yeah, it's a mess, but we're in project mode. You can see over there, we're building things. Things are being built. So, I'm going to just talk about stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. Down here, I guess first thing you guys might not have known, we replaced the ponds. So it used to be big ponds over here. I moved them to the shorter pond, the smaller ponds, like 2/3 size, because I just thought it fit better and we were wasting space. Like these were the Variatus platies, and hopefully for each of these I'm going to film underwater footage and Jimmy can paste it in and it'll look cool. So, but this is the top view you get, and the babies are doing better. We put more plants in here. We upgraded the lighting, by the way, so the lighting got upgraded. I think I showed that in a video, but it's really paying dividends. So you can see that, you know, for the most part, we got lots of green plants. Good things, right? So Variatus platies in here doing well. They were originally slated for the 800 gallon, but I went with rummynose, as you would know now. But these are still probably going to hit like a 125. But the rummynose are in quarantine right now, so they can't. Over here, we've got the Panda platies. They're pushing forward. You know, you can see the lights in the reflection here, but growing plants pretty well. Lots of babies kicking off, doing great. I always think it's weird when you see like the one blonde baby and then it darkens up later. But so they're doing well. This is a contraption I'm going to have Dean build for us. Or not build for us, but you know, make a little video somewhere. Maybe members only. But it's basically a paint strainer with that backer bar, and it just floats. So we use this if we see a really pregnant female. It just floats on the top of the water like that. You put the female in there, and all the fry will stay in. Usually we'd put like a little bit of, you get a little bit of greenery going on in there. Just like that. Usually you just cup your hand, they'll swim in, and then you can just put it in. And then you just lift it in, it stays in there. When you want to do like a water change, because unless you have it sit over here, which the air doesn't really go through, it just builds up, as you can see. And it'll tip over eventually. But if you want to do a water change, all you got to do, let's say we had fish in here. Get in there. There we go. We got a male and a fry. If you want to do a water change, you just lift up. And then you drop it again. And that replaces all the water that's in the bin. I'm going to let these guys out because I'm not doing the females for these right at the moment, but that's how I would do that if I spotted an extra kind of pregnant female. Over here, this is a newer pond. I just moved the blue silverado endlers. This is cupped salvinia that's floating. I don't know if I love this plant, but I didn't have it in here yet. Dean brought some over, so I said, I'll float it, why not? And so the blue silverado endlers, I hope I can get some footage of it down there. They used to live in the 29 over there, but we're putting a new background in, so it's broken down at the moment. So there's that. These are the yellow guppies. You see they're putting out fry, which is good. And I want to get these up in a tank because I really value how they look. I'll try to get some good footage of them underwater for you. And, you know, they haven't really popped off yet. So you can see here, like, I didn't get as many fish of those to start, but like these guys have popped off and there's like, wow, there's lots of them. Not so much on these guys, but I'm willing to wait. Now that we've got more cover, the guppy grass, more fry are starting to make it in there. So that's always good. This is the original green water pond, which, by the way, these two ponds, both of these, used to be right here where this hammock is. So I'm actually going to get a couch there. I just put the hammock here for now so I can lay and daydream and, you know, kind of get the look of the fish room, if you will, and plan what we're going to do. But this was the green water pond. I took the massive light that was on it off so it's no longer green. No matter what I do, no matter how much cover's in here, I cannot get babies to happen inside. Is it too warm? Is it, I don't know what it is. I can't get it to do it. Outside, they're breeding like gangbusters. I can walk across the water, there's so many of them out there. So I'm actually going to catch all these out, put them outside, and use this for more livebearers or something else because it's not getting the result I want. And that's always disappointing, right? But yeah, so that's row numero uno. Down here, we're prepping this tank to get a background next. So currently has the wild Oscar. We found a home because I don't think I'm going to have a good home for it here. Being that I never got the tetras that were supposed to go with it back from Peru and stuff like that. It's always been like, oh, well, I've got this Oscar now. He looks amazing. You know, he's got really good color and everything. Oh, sorry about the glare. But he's going to go live in a 400-gallon aquarium, you know, and he'd only get a 125 here at max, so I think he'll do better there. So rummynose still swimming around. If you watched my rummynose quarantine video, this is being shot the same day. Oh, I did want to do a fun thing where I feed these fish, so I'm going to grab the food and do that. Alright, so I'm feeding the extreme krill flake because things go bananas for it. I put some in the lid to make it easier to just dump in on camera. Normally I would just feed it right with my hand. But these guys are like piranhas when it comes to eating already in this big school. They've really got a different behavior because at the store with I only have 100 or 200, they feed and they wait for it to come down, but these guys do the piranha mode. And I think that's going to look really cool in the 800-gallon when you have 1,000 tetras rush up at feeding time to eat. And you can see, like, that food is gone. Like, 600 tetras, turns out 600 tetras is a lot. So I've been going through a lot of flake food to bulk these guys up. I've been doing live baby brine shrimp every day as well. So I've been investing quite a bit to get these guys healthy before they get introduced to ladybird. But now I've got enough flake, and that's, round 2, that some might make it to the bottom. This is also why I recommend, like, make sure you feed Corydoras. Like, in a tank like this, like, nothing's making it to the bottom yet. Some will, eventually. But, right now, that's not happening. Down low, another prep tank. So we've got all the algae out, we've got all the wood out. It's Turtle Town with endlers. The endlers are going to the store. Turtles probably going to go in like the pond that we had right over here. And once I move those ricefish out, turtles can go in there. Then these two 125s are ready to get their backgrounds, which will be good. And we can put fish. Well, this one, turtles are going to go back in, going to build a little more stuff there. But we can start planting and playing with some more stuff. Over here with the 29s, we got 2 of them, 2 more done with backgrounds. Well, I guess they're still curing. That's why I don't have much water in them yet. And then this is the one that we've done so far. We still need to do the cover the outflow pipes. This is a cool fish, and I don't remember the name at all. It's a livebearer, but that blue eye to me is amazing. They're not quite adults yet, but I'm really enjoying the way these guys. It's almost like Colstratus, which is a different type of livebearer, but really cool blue eye. Having trouble focusing on because the light's kind of set to the back and stuff, but got some Pogostemus stellatus octopus in there, and we've got some dwarf sag transitioning. This is what happens with dwarf sag. It transitions back where, oh, the emerge leaves are dying back, the new ones are coming forward. So that's what you see over here. I've got yellow labs, so some African cichlids. Let me turn off some of the overhead lighting for a little bit here. I can actually do that I use an app and some light timers. We're going to start selling these light timers eventually, but let me just turn these lights off. Oh. And that's the turtle tank. Where's the other light? Oh, I actually got to turn the actual lights off. Let me go do that. The actual overhead lights that aren't on Wi-Fi. Dang it. All right, so yes, the yellow labs now with less glare. I got these from Charles Clapsaddle. Going to work on breeding them. Still got to decide if I want to swap out the substrate or not. Yes, I know it's ridiculous to have Crip Pink Flamingo with yellow labs. I'll be remedying that as I keep playing musical chairs. I'm trying to decide if I want to up the amount of light. You can see it's like a little dim in the corners and stuff, right? It's because I'm only running 1 stingray on there. And it's enough to grow the plants. You can see like this dwarf sag. Look at all the kind of the wider leaves. That's what we would ship it to you like. And then all these new leaves that are growing up, it's growing extra tall because it wants the light. But it is enough to grow it. So, we'll have to make a decision there. Down low, this is a fun tank down here I'm really enjoying. So again, we've got dwarf Sagittaria. and it's sending a runner out. That's what's on the right-hand side there. Only a stingray, so the lighting's not the best, but we do have those whiptail cats that we brought back from Peru. Oh my God! And I swear to God, this is going to seem like I made this up. I swear to God, I did not make it up. Because I've been waiting so long, like the members know, and I've been telling people, like, why won't my Kribensis breed? I just saw a Kribensis baby, and honestly, for as easy as a fish this is to breed, you don't even know how excited I am because I've been waiting so long. I'm going to just, oh gosh, there they are. I'm slowly zooming in so you can see these babies. I have to show them on camera now because you'll never believe me otherwise. You can see them down there, but they're the same color as the gravel. So I can see them right below. You really got to look, and I'm hoping it's coming better out on camera than this little screen I'm seeing here. But I can see him swimming around. You see by his tail there, and yep, now you can definitely see that one swim across. And you see those platies. They're all breeding up a storm, but I'm honestly, this is, it's a super easy egg layer to breed. So Kribensis, super easy. The reason I'm breeding the albinos is because the males and females are very easy to sex. The females will have a nice purple belly, and the albino makes it really easy to see that. And so a lot of people can come into the store and they'll have success. So I'm actually really excited for that. And Dad's doing a bang-up job playing goalie here and keeping the kids at home. Wow. It's not every day that I just want to set the camera down and be like, I'm done filming. I want to watch my fish. And this is one of those moments for me. I love to breed fish. It is what keeps me going because even though I've done this fish probably 20 times, well, not 20, 10 times in the past, it still was giving me trouble like this last few weeks. This last few months, I guess. And so it's exciting to go, it worked! Ha-ha! It worked! Ha-ha! It's redeeming, I guess. Yeah, keep building that nest, Dad. All right, so what else we got going on here? We have juruparis. These are sand sifters. So they take bites of sand, sift them through their gills, and spit them back out. Now, they're not going to live here for a long time. They were just in quarantine over in that 29. Well, we did a background. Guess what? They just entered this 2 days ago. Probably made Dad pretty angry. Like, hey, you put in more people I got to keep away. So that's not so good. And then we have the highlight of this tank, besides what we just showed you. And this would be the teacup platies, or fireball platies. So they're like a balloon molly, basically, but a platy. And you can see how red they are, right? They're just a nice, vibrant red. And they really stand out against green plants. I'm going to have a 75-gallon tank that is these guys and green plants. And if you're not jealous right now, you will be in 6 months to a year. Hey, there's Mom back there, making Dad do the work. Good mom. So the males also get a little bit of red and pink on their belly, but they always get bigger too. And to be fair, I mean, I guess that could be a super oversized male or female, but that's usually not the way it works. The female's always smaller. And the way when I was watching them not lay eggs, but build the nest and act like it, that was definitely the male. The male usually can't really come around the nest until the breeding's actually been done and all of that. And the female is the one that tends to everything, and she has to grant access. Yeah, you can see her belly is more fat and more purple. And it really gets purple when they're breeding. Well, I'm super excited because this tank, I'm going to, sit down and check on it every day. I'm going to get the brine shrimp going again. I took a couple days off because I'm running out of my brine shrimp eggs, but I still got a bubble. And I'm just going to put eggs and stuff in there, and boom, we're going to go to town and get those babies a raisin. All right, where did we leave off here? I think this is only, I've got some ponds and then this tank. So I'll do this tank and we'll turn lights back on. This tank is some fish I got from Carl Trochu as a favor. He won't sell fish. He wins ALA conventions all the time. These are his orange Variatus. And you can see they're pretty darn orange. I really want to get these breeding out quite well. Right now they just have to live in a 29. They went through quarantine. It's been like a month. Now they could enter a pond once we're done musical tanking this place. And so, yeah, we got to put a background in here, but they are stunning, but they're super timid. He grows them outside in his outdoor fish room. If you remember, you actually got to see his fish room, and I said, hey, if you ever have any extras, I'll pay anything you want to get me some of these. I think they're super cool. Some of you might be like, doesn't that just look like a swordtail? And I'd be like, yeah, it kind of does, but it's a Variatus. Not even a platy, it's a Variatus, which is super cool. And if they hit the right light, you can see the metallic scales they have, which is really nice. So yeah, all these plants will have to come out. You know, obviously that's just a plant laying on its side, so, you know, not a big loss there, but all of them are going to come out. We'll replant it, make them look good, and that's the goal, is we're starting to grow in some plants. My big time goal was COVID was going to go away. I'd go and film other things, and you guys would come back and be like, wow, Corey redid the fish room and planted it, and everything's growing in and it looks amazing. And then COVID happened, and now it's July, and I still can't really do all the stuff I want to go do and travel and show you cool stuff. So I have to be in the fish room and make it less epic. You come more along for the ride, which is the style I always used to do, but now I just wanted to try something different. So let me get the lights on, because without the lights, this camera has to compensate, and you're just seeing a little bit of green. So, all right, I decided it was time to, net up and show you my little derp babies. These are the goldfish from the 800 gallon that was, they spawned once we took the goldfish out. Well, they spawned, we took the goldfish out, the eggs hatched. These are the ones that made it naturally. So we had, 6 or 5? 5. There might be one more in the tote. I remember it being 6, but... and they're doing quite well, I would say. Only one has started to really color out. And the rest, they all look like, oh, they're just, brown goldfish. Well, they haven't colored out yet, but I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these little babies. That's kind of why, if you're like, where'd the goldfish go? Well, I just ended up getting rid of them. We sold them off at the store because I had babies. And I was like, I don't have room to raise their babies. I don't have room to keep all of those adults that are in the 800 gallon. And so I decided, well, I'll raise up the babies because my wife, she named the orange one. It's named Crush, Orange Crush, right? So Crush. The other ones haven't been named yet. I'm sure they'll get names once they, once they get some color on them so you can tell them apart. But, they just live in this ocean of guppy grass with some ricefish at the moment. And I think eventually they're going to get a tank. But maybe not. Maybe they keep a pond. I don't know. We'll see what my wife kind of wants to do. I've got maybe a project. Maybe we move them. Maybe when Ladybird goes in the 800 gallon, maybe these will go in the 230 gallon in our living room. Although we kind of planned to put a couch where where the tank was. So we'll see. How do I say this without it coming off as like a passive aggressive comment? What am I trying to say here? I think it's important to show that, I can raise some fish and we are keeping fish and it's not just like, sensationalized would be like, my stuff died. Oh man, that's so horrible. And then, I could say I ordered 1,000 rummynose tetras, 500 dead, and yeah, it's going to get the clicks, but that doesn't push forward the hobby and make us look good and it's not that I'm not trying to hide the fact that it happened. I'm just not trying to sensationalize it. Where, this, I could be like, look at my baby goldfish that I accidentally bred. And I take pride in accidentally breeding. Because I could intentionally breed these, and now I got 700 of these things to manage, and that's a pain. Hey, there's number 6. I knew I wasn't a liar. I was feeling bad of oh my God, did I kill one? But no, he's still there. I just didn't catch him. He's a runt living in the grass. Anyway, I take pride in the fact that these are accidental because it shows you guys could accidentally breed some too, and you don't have to intentionally do it. Feeding good food, water changes, creating the right environment. You can get things to push forward, and that's my favorite way to breed. Yes. Do I intentionally breed some things? Yes. Do I do it for profit sometimes? Yes. This was neither that. This is a happy accident going, oh wow, and now my wife is into him how's Crush doing? Can I go feed Crush? Sure you can, right? So that becomes much more than just breeding a fish to me. And yes, if we ever get rid of them or my wife only wants to keep Crush or maybe she loses interest or maybe I want to keep them or don't, they'll get sold to a nice home, and I feel like that's an important part to show with there being so many shock fish YouTubers where it's like, look, I bought 7 things today and tomorrow I'm going to buy 10 more and next week I'm going to buy 42 more. And then it's always look at the latest thing I bought. Whereas I try to do it more you guys have probably been in a content drought. Hey, who's pooping green in there? Who's doing that? You've been in a content drought because I haven't bought stuff because I was traveling so much. I wasn't doing a whole lot. And I know I can bring fish in, but if I don't appreciate and enjoy them, what am I doing? Besides the Peru fish, I hadn't really bought or brought much stuff in. And, the Peru fish, that sucked that, I was going to build this whole tank for them and it was going to be amazing. And then the main schooling fish weren't allowed to be exported. It really killed the vibe I was going for. I was like, well, what's the point now, right? Anyway, I'm going to move along to some other totes. In here, this is kind of excess. If I get too many males, like there's a bunch of Tuxedo males in here, and we just take these to the store and they get sold off. There's some females in here too, and they produce some fry. Like there's babies in there too. But this is mostly, I tell Robert, like, yeah, just when you run out of guppies or the wholesaler's out, come scoop some out. They're nice and healthy, and I'll keep loading this one up. I'm going to release these guys because I don't want to forget and film too long and have something bad happen. That would be horrible. By the way, this is like a 1 gallon container. I bought them online somewhere. We used to use them to house bettas when I was doing containers and stuff like that to make recirculating things. That's where you get that. Because someone's going to ask, like, where'd you get that container? And I use it to look at fish. I use it to actually feed brine shrimp is what I do most of the time. In here, we've got some orange shrimp, as you can see, grazing on the side. And we've got the small count of female and babies of the Tuxedo platies. So we get so male heavy in here, or it was so male heavy, they were just chomping the babies. And so I had to remove most of the males. There goes a big female. Oh, come on. Well, take my word for it, that's a big female. They were eating most of the babies, and therefore we weren't getting a lot of production. So males go over there, they can go find a new home. We'll make a bunch more, get it going, let the shrimp go, that kind of stuff. This is the floating tray that we did a video on. If we find one that's super pregnant and we want to start a new pond, we use this for starting new ponds mostly. We'll go ahead and put her in here, start a new pond, let all the babies come out, and then we'll move the adult fish over there after they've grown out enough. Over here, this is a tiger lotus that has put some leaves up at the surface, which is super cool. I need to put in dwarf aquarium lilies. They do way better than the tiger lotus. Tiger lotus takes a lot of light. Dwarf lilies don't take much at all. I'm actually surprised this one made it up. These are some Lyre-tail, like gold blue guppies. They've got like a little bit of blue on the tail. I'll try to get some good footage underwater, but it's going to be hard to get footage with all this guppy grass. But the guppy grass leads to lots of babies. And for sure there's going to be someone like, well, how come you don't sell guppy grass? It doesn't ship very well at all. So even though I make tons of it, and you can get some at the store sometimes, it doesn't ship very well. And I only brought a little bit in, and I could use a lot of things though. Like I could, well, here's a good example. Even just floating plants, like these are crypts and stuff. This does really well also. Babies can hide out in there. There's Anubias right there. There's Balbitis down there. That's floating crypts. And you might be like, don't they have to be planted? Well, they've been floating for over a year, so they'll be fine. There's some buse on that one. In general, they just need any kind of cover at all. Doesn't really matter. So I really like water sprite and Pogostemma salatus octopus. But now, like I was telling the members and stuff, this becomes such a problem. I have to clean it out weekly or it starts choking it out. Like these Vienna guppies will have a hard time actually getting to food if I don't remove a lot of the guppy grass. And I just removed this a couple days ago, if you can believe that. So you can see there's, quite lively in here, really breeding quite well. And we want to be able to supply more at the store. Some big old females ready to burst with more babies. Over here, last pond, we've got a trio of swordtails that I had gotten from Carl Trochu as well with those Variatus platies. These are the blue swordtails I was interested in. 2 females and a big male, yeah. And they live in this pond. It's a trio. It's oversized, but this Anubias was super covered in algae. I wish I had taken pictures. If you guys remember from an old video, it was the one down there, and it was always covered in muck because we were trying to do planaria, right? I put it in here. These snails have just cleaned this up wicked good. So these pond snails, which are my favorite snails, by the way, I love these things. They have just cleaned this right up. And so, I get it. People hate snails. But I love snails. And so, here's what I think the problem with snails are. Snails will eat dying plants. So where do we see the snails in this tank? We had algae. They'll eat that. We have guppy grass over here not getting enough light because of the ledge. Guess what? They're eating that. And then they're also eating, this is a lily down there we were trying. It doesn't get enough light because of the way, the ledge works here, right? We have to shine the light in. It's only half lit. It's not enough light. So as that dies back, they're going to continually eat it. So they're doing me a favor here. But people go, oh, they're eating my plants. And yes, they'll eat plants. And for sure, another example would be in, where was it? This aquarium over here? For sure, they would be eating all of this dying back immerse grown leaves. And someone would be like, snails are eating my plants. They wouldn't eat the new growth that's good. And they would do the same thing with this cryptocorn. They would eat these green leaves, because this is not going to be a green crypt, but that was grown out of water. They would eat that, and then it would come back. Same thing over here. I know I keep saying same thing, but this Pogostemma octopus comes in like that. That's what it looks like, kind of grown out of water, a little underwater. And then in my tank, it's making that. So you see how that's a lot different than that? So snails would totally be like, oh, I'm eating this, it's dying back. Meanwhile, people going, snails, they're doing a thing, they eat my stuff, right? And yeah, they are eating your stuff, but they're helping you. It's kind of like when your significant other goes, hey, you gonna finish that? I'll eat that. It's kind of helping you. Some other little gadgety things I got going. I bought a little fridge. This is meant to keep 6 cans of soda cold. It is my brine shrimp egg thing, so it's close to my brine shrimp hatcher. And then we've got the brine shrimp hatcheries over here. It would have been super smart of me to have brine shrimp hatching, but I was running low on eggs. And so I was like, I'll take a couple days off and I'll do it today. Well, I need to set it up and do it. So it doesn't look very good on video. My bad. This is my station. This is my LED light. This is how I do it. I run it on the USB air pumps. I think the air pump lives right behind this towel, actually. There we go. Shout out to Sergeant Tanks. But yeah, it lives right behind there, and it's really easy to clean because it's at the sink, right? Lots of remodeling going on, and I say remodeling, that's a very loose term in the fish room. Got a new fridge there, that little fridge, because that big skanky fridge that I got for free is going away. Because a couch is going to go there eventually, someday, so we can sit down and maybe do some live streams with Dean and other influencers if we ever get to hang out with people again. Hey, there's another lily pad. Just one. Bloop. But yeah, lots of remnants of the projects. Like we need to wrap the uplift tubes. We need, a lot of little projects we work on. This is kind of a cool thing. Let's hopefully not show my address here. But this is a fly river turtle with a rainbow fish. My brain wasn't working. Sam Scales, he does artwork. I'd show you the other side. I don't think it doesn't say anything. I don't want to show my address. But I'm going to hang this. It came with a little kit, and I just want to hang this somewhere in the fish room because that's still my holy grail, quote unquote fish is a fly river turtle. And I thought, you know what? I got to get me one of those skateboards because I think it's just a cool, not often you get to see something like a skateboard and fish, especially like a rainbow fish on there. I'm a sucker for it. Yeah, the thing was like $80. I'm not even going to try to downplay like, oh, that thing was cheap. It's a good investment. No, my wife's pissed. No, I'm not pissed, but she's gonna be like, you paid $80 for that? What's wrong with you? I liked it. There's one of the gold ricefish. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little tour. Test some products like that. This fry holder. And so I'm going to carry one of them, but I'm testing all of them. So that's why I've got every version, because these things aren't cheap. They're like 30 or 40 bucks or something. They're all slightly different. Which one do I like the best? Which one do Dean and I and Randy like the best? So we're testing them before we bring them in. We might even already have them on the way. We probably will have them on the way by the time you guys see this video, but just know that, still testing, but focusing on making the fish room better and breeding babies. So excited about those albino cribs. That's the thing, is like those are one of the most common things in my entire room besides like my generic guppies. And I'm super stoked about those, but then you're like, but isn't that pond worth like $1,000? Yeah, probably. But I'm already successful doing that. It's, when you're a fish breeder, you're always chasing the next breeding high of like, oh, look, I did it. Oh, look, I did that one. Oh, wow. So a challenge is a good thing. And so that's what I find myself getting into. Hopefully you guys had some fun today. I know I'm in my own fish room again and COVID's holding me back. No, there's not really an update, but if you didn't watch the other video, I'll swing in real quick on the 800 gallon. Because the other video will have covered this, but the 800 gallon is planted. It's in this form here. and we're coming along, you know. And this is, you know, this is a multi-month project, and I think a lot of people, they rush their aquariums, and definitely as I get old, which I'm 37, you know, I'm the ripe old age of 37, I can appreciate, like, I don't know, I got a long time left on this earth. What's another month or two to really do this right? And do I like it? Do I want to change that? Does that stump need to move a little bit to the right? Does that one need to just go, you know, like ping? Oh, a plant just grew. That's a shout out to that other live stream. But yeah, you know, playing around with it and making sure I have fun. That's the thing is here, we could set this all up in a weekend, you're done, and you spend all the money and you're done having fun. But I've invested so much money and time into this, I want to savor it. You know, it's an absurd number, but the background with these pieces of stuff, with the shipping and everything for the decor is over $2,000. And I don't say that like, oh, check it out, I drive a Lamborghini, which I don't, by the way. I'm not doing it to brag, I'm just going, that's a crazy investment. And so I need to get time sitting in front of my tank just going, ooh, that looks cool. Let me turn that a little bit. Let me get this thing was $800. Let me get $800 of enjoyment tweaking that thing. Let me turn it. Let me put another plant on there. Let me do a thing. And not just go, ho, ho, hum. And so that's, you know, I really need to savor and enjoy this stuff. And so, you know, unfortunately, that means you guys got to wait a little bit longer, but I'm hoping the end product, you'll like it. I know I'll like it. You know, we're working on air placement and stuff. We wanted to kind of hide this one. And part of us was like, is it too tacky to have air coming out of this thing? And I was like, I don't care. I think it looks cool. So even though, yeah, it kind of looks fake, I think once the algae grows in, we could put some plants on top, but I wanted air in the tank, and I was like, why wouldn't I put air in these two giant holes in this decoration? Like, it's not meant to do that, but it just seems like I should do that. You know, and some of the stuff we did, which, you know, I don't think I'm going to really make a video on how we did it, but we brought the air behind the background when we siliconed it in. It actually comes down out under the sand, and then the air lines come up through here. So we were able to hide that, even though we didn't have to. We thought, yeah, we can pull that off. We used a lot of rigid airline tubing, which that's this stuff right over here. Take it into some better light. The rigid airline, oh, it's falling out. So it looks like this. Rigid airline tubing. It's the same stuff that we heat up with a heat gun to bend over the rims of these. So real useful stuff. You can get it on Amazon for like $2 or $3 for a 3-foot thing of it. You couldn't ship it for $3. Amazon for sure is losing money. Really useful if you're a DIY type of guy in the fish room. And even if you're not, it's really easy to work with. So, all right, guys, I got to get back to work. Well, work, and my battery is dying. It literally has a red X on it, so better end it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you buy our stuff, that'll help me do more of this.